Through the mouths of His prophets, God gives His people one final warning. Repent of their sin, or a terrible judgment will happen to them. Will they finally listen? This warning, delivered through the prophets Zephaniah, Nahum, Habakkuk, and Jeremiah, portrays a heartbroken and angry God, whose people have rejected Him so many times that He has no choice but to punish them. The prophetic messages in these books are addressed to the southern kingdom of Judah, which was all that remained of the homeland after the conquest of the northern kingdom of Israel around 722 BC. Will Judah learn from Israel's experience? The Assyrian Empire, which had terrorized God's people for centuries, was beginning to crumble. The book of Nahum portrays the destruction of Nineveh, the capital city of Assyria, as an act of God against a violent and oppressive people. The proud Assyrians, who were thought to be invincible, had been humbled by the justice of God. The prophets are sent by God to remind His people of their covenant obligations. Their only path to a good future lies in living out their loyalty to God. As the prophet Habakkuk laments, it did not take long for Judah to fall back into evil and idolatry. The rich and powerful oppressed the poor and vulnerable. Pagan idols replaced the worship of the one true God. The tone of God's messages in these prophetic books moves from exasperation to anger. In the book of Jeremiah, God portrays Himself as a scorned lover whose beloved spouse refuses to be faithful to Him. After countless acts of infidelity, the relationship is in shambles, and God is reaching the end of His patience. If they will not return to Him, God promises to raise up another pagan empire, Babylon, to destroy Judah, in an awful judgment referred to by prophet Zephaniah as the terrible day of the Lord. Over and over in these books, God calls His people to account for their unfaithfulness, pleads with them to return to Him, and warns in graphic detail of what will happen if they do not listen and repent. Some of the most tragic events in the entire history of God's people are recorded here. The people of Israel are failing in their calling to obey God and show the world His ways. But God promises that their failure is not the last word in the story. He will transform them into a people who will be vessels of His light for all peoples to see. How can God possibly do this? The prophets themselves will give us a picture of God's remarkable renewal to come. The land, the hearts of His people, their worship of the one true God in His temple, and the mission to the world. All of this will be restored in a surprising way.